You ever have one of those days where your own mind just feels like your worst enemy? It's just full of worries or these grumpy thoughts you can't seem to shake? Well, today, we're going to dive into a super old book called the Dhammapada. You can think of it like a secret instruction manual for your brain, written thousands of years ago, that teaches you how to make your mind your absolute best friend.
So let's just start with this one big question. Are your thoughts your friend or are they your enemy? I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. One minute, your mind is this amazing tool helping you solve a tough problem. But then the next, it's just replaying some embarrassing moment from last year over and over again, making you feel terrible. So, which one is it?
Okay, but what if you could actually train your mind? Kind of like you'd train a puppy to make it your best friend? What if you could make it a source of real, lasting happiness, no matter what's happening on the outside? Well, that is the core promise of the Dhammapada. It's basically a roadmap to understanding and becoming the boss of your own inner world. So what is the number one big idea in this entire book? It's actually incredibly simple, but so powerful. It's this. Everything, and I mean everything, starts in your mind. Every feeling you have, whether it's joy or anger, and every single thing you do, from sharing your food to yelling at someone, it all begins with one tiny little thought. The book kicks off with this really powerful line: mind precedes all mental states. Now, that's just a kind of fancy way of saying your thoughts always come first. They're the boss, they're like the artist inside your head, and they're the ones painting the world you see and experience every single day. And it works like this. If you have a weedy thought, like jealousy or anger, it's always going to lead to unhappy feelings. And that unhappiness, it kind of follows you around like a shadow. But if you have a flowery thought, something like kindness or just being grateful, that will always lead to good feelings. And that happiness sticks with you, like a good friend who's always got your back. And this brings us to maybe the most important image in the entire book. Ready for it? Your mind is a garden, and your thoughts are the seeds. And every single moment, you are the gardener, and you're the one deciding what to plant. Are you going to plant seeds of kindness and grow these beautiful flowers? Or are you going to let the seeds of anger and worry grow into nasty, prickly weeds? The choice is always yours. Okay, so if we want a beautiful mind garden, the very first job of a good gardener is to learn how to spot the weeds. The Dhammapada tells us to watch out for a few really big ones that honestly cause most of our problems. The first major weed is something called craving. This is that little voice inside that's always whispering, I need more. If I just get that new phone or get more followers online or a better grade, then I'll finally be happy. The Dhammapada says this feeling is like a vine that wraps itself around your heart and just squeezes, choking out any chance for real, lasting peace. Next up, we've got the weed of anger. We all know this one, right? That hot, prickly feeling that just makes you want to scream. The book has this brilliant warning about anger. It says being angry at someone is like picking up a piece of hot coal just so you can throw it at them. Guess who gets burned first? Yep, you do.
And the third big weed is heedlessness. Now that's kind of an old-fashioned word, but it just means living on autopilot. You know what I'm talking about? When you're just endlessly scrolling on your phone, or you're snacking without even tasting your food, or you're just reacting to things without even thinking. The Dhammapada has a pretty scary name for this. It calls it the path to death. Not like a real death, but the death of paying attention and actually living your own life.
Okay, so now we know what the weeds look like. And honestly, that's a huge first step. But just spotting the weeds isn't quite enough. We need the right tools to gently pull them out so we can start planting some beautiful flowers. So let's look at the tools the book gives us for our garden. So, the Dhammapada gives us a whole toolkit for our mind garden. The first tool is heedfulness, which is really just paying attention on purpose. The next is self-control, which is like the superpower of just pausing before you act. Then there's good company, which means choosing to hang out with people who are light sunshine for your garden. And finally, maybe the most powerful tool of all, non-hatred.
This quote right here is one of the most famous in the whole book, and it's totally the opposite of what we'd normally do. Our instinct is usually to fight fire with fire, right? If someone yells, we yell back. But this teaches the exact opposite. Fight fire with water. Meet anger with calm. Meet meanness with goodness. This isn't about being weak or letting people walk all over you. It's about being strong in a much smarter way.
So how do you actually do this in real life? Let's use these steps to defeat anger. Step 1, recognize it. The second you feel that hot, prickly feeling, just say in your head, oh, hello, anger. Don't fight it, just see it. Step 2, pause. This is the magic step. Before you type that angry text or say that mean thing, just create a tiny little gap of silence. Just one deep breath. And then, step 3, choose. In that little gap you just created, you now have the power to choose a better response. Maybe it's kindness, maybe it's just walking away, or maybe it's just silence. You're back in control.
So, we're busy pulling weeds, we're planting flowers, but what's the whole point? What's the goal here? What does a perfect, peaceful mind garden actually feel like on the inside? Well, the book gives this goal a special name, Nibbana. Now, I know it might sound like a weird, complicated word, but it just means the highest, most peaceful kind of happiness you can imagine. It's this deep, calm feeling of just being okay, a feeling that doesn't get shaken, even if your whole day is going badly. It's a happiness that comes from the inside, not the outside.
And that's the key difference, right there. This is not the temporary buzz you get from eating a candy bar or getting a ton of likes on a post. I mean, that's fun, but it fades so fast. This is the deep, lasting happiness that comes from having a mind that is calm and clear. It's the amazing feeling of real inner freedom, where you're not being controlled by your cravings or your anger anymore.
Okay, this all sounds great, but how do we actually start? Let's make it super practical. Here are a few things to start doing, maybe even today. First, just become a thought detective. Start noticing what's happening in your mind without judging it. Second, make a choice to plant a seed of kindness, especially when you feel like planting an anger seed. Third, hang out with people who feel like sunshine. And finally, practice hitting that magic pause button before you speak or act. And just as important, here are the weeds we need to stop watering. Stop blaming other people or things, the traffic, your teacher, your family, for how you feel. Remember, you are the gardener of your mind. Stop letting anger and craving be the boss of you. And really try, to catch those mean words before they fly out of your mouth. Now, if all this feels like a little too much, don't worry. Here is one tiny, super easy habit you can start today. Just for 1 minute, that's it, 60 seconds. Find a quiet spot and just watch your thoughts float by, like clouds in the sky. You don't have to do anything about them. Don't grab them, don't push them away, just watch. This simple 1-minute practice is the very first step to becoming the boss of your own mind. All right, let's do a quick recap of the main treasures from this incredible book. First, your mind creates your world. Second, you are the gardener. You're the only one in charge of your mind. Third, you can't put out a fire with more fire. Anger is only defeated by calm. Fourth, paying attention is a superpower. It is the secret key to everything. And finally, real wealth isn't money, it's having a peaceful and contented heart. If you remember only one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. We spend so much of our lives trying to fix everything on the outside, hoping it'll make us feel happy on the inside. But the Dhammapada teaches us that the real secret, the only path to true and lasting peace, is to turn around, look inward, and gently, kindly train the mind itself. So I'll leave you with one last question to think about. You are the gardener, standing in your beautiful mind garden right this very second. What is the one good seed? Maybe it's a thought of kindness for someone, or a moment of patience with yourself, or a small act of generosity. What is the one good seed that you're going to choose to plant today?